Hello, beautiful people. How's it going? My name is Kyle, and this is my run of Windspire 20 on my Blood Death Knight. Those are my talents, my pages. I can't pre-plot because this was like actually our third time at this key. But spoiler, we got it, which is why you're seeing the video. A lot of cool, interesting things here. First things first, I want to say this. If you are a tank, you have to always be improving both your gameplay and your route. The first two times we did this, we got kind of close. And the shaman was like, hey, is this the route that will get us to 20, you think? And it wasn't clearly because we changed route and we timed it. So there's that. Keep that in mind. If you're a tank, it's okay to improve your route. Some people will be dicks about it. Some people will be meanie heads about it. Get over that. There's criticism somewhere. Even in a harsh comment, there's some kind of critique there. You just have to find it. Luckily, these guys were very cordial. We all wanted to win, and I changed my route, and we won. So there's that. I just want to say that for all my tank guys. I know it can be hard for us to want to change our routes because we're like, hey, we know everything, but sometimes we don't, and it's okay to change a route for the team. And I think that's honestly okay. There's a little bit like, yeah. So if you're a tank, it's okay. Be open to changing your route because you might not have the best route there is. That said, that was the first pull. Very easy. See, we're going right first. And we're going to skip the stewards, which are the casty boys. They hurt on 20s. So do your best. If you're taking these, do your best to avoid the stewards as much as you can. I grab all of these guys up here. Nothing crazy. I mean, this looks like a big pool, but it's really like not. The only thing scary in this pool is the Dragon Hawk, which you have to hard CC to stop him doing his ability called Fire Spit, and these stewards. So really, not that Fire Spit you see going right there. It gets stunned by the warrior with the shockwave. It looks like a big pool. This looks super scary, but it's not. Again, just interrupt the steward and hard CC the Dragon Hawk. That's it. This is not really a scary pool. Realistically, no one should be taking damage here but the tank. This is a lot of tank damage. That's it. Nothing crazy on this pool. The hardest thing about this pool I can see would be the gathering. But once you gather everything up like you saw there and people are CCing and stunning, it's a pretty straightforward pool after that. You see, I start to at least walk down because in 20s plus high keys, you want to try to keep as much downtime as possible. Like you don't want to like be running a lot. Also interesting. The paladin's mouse died here. I forgot about that. I don't know how he replaced it, but he replaced it pretty quickly, and we got it. I remember stopping at the edge there. I forgot his mouse died, and we kept going. So look, stuff can happen in 20s, and you can still time it. So there's that. Again, this pool, not really scary. The biggest scary thing in this pool is there's the steward that you see on the screen. So you want to make sure you interrupt that. And the cat does bounces on people, and they'll like lunge at people, deal big damn. The puncturing bite comes across on the tank. I believe it puts a bleed on you. That cat. But yeah, there's a bleed, and then the cat jumps around with that big circle you see on the ground there. Nothing crazy here. Nothing super scary at all. Just kite. Don't run into the traps. Those traps will like. Actually, I killed one of the runs because I hit a trap, and like I think the previous run to this. So, yikes. Yeah, that's on your boy. So yeah, be careful of the traps. It happens. It happens. Just be careful of those traps. We have a lot of pre-healing here, and since Blizzard hates Blood Death Knight, we don't have Shattering Bone. So it's going to be a little bit harder for us to gather because we don't have that passive AoE like we used to have, unfortunately. But again, this pool, really big pool. We have 2 deaths here because those fire spits weren't going off. And that is what will wipe you on this pool. So you saw the fire spits. We weren't in position. We weren't ready. And we actually pulled an extra pack here, extra mushrooms that we shouldn't have pulled. That was pulled by the druid. So that's fine. I mean, we recover, we're good. But again, what makes this pool dangerous? It made it dangerous by those two dragon hawks that we have. That fire spit that you see, you saw both of them going off, and unfortunately, they both targeted the healer and they died. So you want to be careful of that. Also, the druid pulled an extra pack, but it is what it is. We recover. The paladin dies here, and he trolls us. Well, I say trolls. I'm halfway joking, right? He releases with no boots. So it's going to take him some time to get here. Look at these mistakes, and we still time this 20. So I just want to keep you guys in the loop so you guys can see, like, okay, you can make mistakes. You can get through it. Quite honestly, the damage in this group is really, really good. So there's that. Our damage is making it so we can still, we time this. Our damage is making it so we still time this. Our shaman goes to troll release with no boost. It's fine. Like, we time this, it's fine. It is kind of a troll because we could have just rezzed him, but such is life. It's fine. It's fine. So what I do here is these two packs that I pulled go into the boss, and it works very well for cleave. And these packs are not harmful to the group whatsoever. This just Dutiful Servant and Pesty Lashlings. These guys do no damage to the group. They pose no group damage, no group threat. So just pulling them to be on the tank to use as cleave, nothing wrong with that at all. These are two very safe packs to pull to cleave on the boss. Why you want to cleave on the boss? One, you get percentage damage done. You get percentage done. Excuse me. I was like trying to figure out what I was trying to say there. You get damage done on the boss, and you also clear percentage at the same time. So you're killing 2 birds with one stone. Really, you're killing 3 because a lot of classes have this thing called funnel where they can deal damage to one target and like do other soft damage to other targets. So that's like my tank version of explaining that. In some classes, I guess you do more damage if you funnel. I'm not a DPS guy. No idea, to be honest with you. But that is. So he says tank on the wall for uptime. I knew this beforehand, but the way the group was going, I was not sure what that should look like. But yes, let's talk about that. So if you're a tank, I don't care what key you're tanking on, doesn't matter. You want to make sure you're tanking this boss on the wall. And you might think to yourself, why? Why should we do that? Good question. You're asking the right questions. Why we tank this boss on the wall is because, one, notice our comp. We're an all melee fizz comp. So if I tank them in the middle and the DPS has to run away and put fire on the ground, they're losing uptime on the boss. They can't hit the boss and put this stuff down because they have to run away and put those fire things down on the ground that you see right there. So if we tank the boss near the wall, DPS can put fire on the ground like that and still be hitting the boss. So really the name of the game here is uptime. You want uptime, you want uptime, and you want uptime. And in smaller keys, it's not a big deal, right? Like, you're not worried about it. It's not a big deal, but especially as you get higher up, you want to make sure you're hitting the boss or hitting targets, etc., as much as you possibly can. So I could have did that earlier, but I'm gonna be honest. I did not think we were gonna time this. If I'm being honest, like, can I be honest? Can I be for real or not? But yeah. So critique for us tanks, including myself. We want to make sure for this boss, especially if you're with a melee comp, you want to make sure that you're tanking near the wall just to keep as much uptime as possible. That said, nothing really crazy about this boss. So that Searing Beak puts a dot on the tank. Blood Death Knights Rejoice, we can just AMS that. So we don't have to worry about any dot on us or anything like that. But Blizzard has this weird asphyxiation with always making sure the tank has a dot up. So they cast it twice, which is crazy. They do that in Skyreach too. The bird boss in Skyreach. Annoying, but Blood Death Knights, we can just heal ourselves up. It's really not too bad of a deal. I don't know how other tanks would deal with it, But if you're Blood Death Knight and you see that Searing Beak, AMS that bad boy, there's going to be 2. So you AMS 1, another one's going to come, and you just heal yourself through it. So that's this boss. Funnel, and you want to tank near the wall for uptime. That's all you really want to do here. This is a bit of a micromanage, but I ghost walk while the druid feral stampedes. I could have waited to the after, but such is life. So we want to try to skip the steward here. Again, we can't because they're right there on the edge. Such is life. You can't skip it. So what we do, since we cannot skip the steward, that will happen sometimes. Don't freak out. You want to try to skip the steward as much as possible. Sometimes you cannot, which is okay. So if we didn't grab the steward in this pack, I would have gone all the way in the hallway. Stewards are sneaky buggers. They will cast and cast and cast, and you only have so many death grips, right? So you want to kill that first before you go into your next pack. You see, as the steward dies, I grab into the next pack here. I pull this guy. I go into the next group here, get everything gathered, and we just play ball here. Big ball. I pop ICC. We hero here as well. This is a big, I think the shaman died previous to this. So we got to stable ourselves again, and this is a good time to do it. This pack, again, we would have went straight here if we didn't get the steward, but we got the steward. Once that's dead, we continue the chain. Again, if you're a tank, don't freak out. You want to avoid the steward, but if you can't, kill it before you go into the next pack. Be calm. You got this. Just kill it before you go next. In this pack, what's going on in this pack? You have the Banshee, who will do AoE damage with the shield. Kill the Banshee ASAP as possible. That Banshee deals big AoE damage. Outside of that, you have your Zealous Reavers and your Ardent Cutthroats, who will cast like a poison thing, and that will deal big damage. So you want to make sure you interrupt that poison blaze right there. Just interrupt that. And that's about it. Really nothing crazy. There's area denial on these trash packs. So you see lots of green on the floor. Just move out of it. And there's a big tank buster from this flesh behemoth called Brutal Chop or something like that. That's it. So what's scary about this pack? There's a tank buster, that Brutal Chop you see on the screen right there. You see poison blades where you just want to interrupt. And there's green stuff on the floor, and just move from that. You see no one's taking damage. If you interrupt and move out of the green and move those circles out, you don't really take damage here. So this is really a war of attrition. Just making sure you're a war of paying attention. Are you paying attention? But that's about it. As you see, everyone's fine. Everyone's healthy. That's it. Watch out for the tank buster, interrupts, and just move out of the poop. That's it for this pool. I have a rule. You never really want to be fighting one mob. But here in this situation, this flesh behemoth is pretty close to dying. And I don't want to pull the behemoth with the Banshee. So I'll wait until it gets 10%, until it gets really low. And I'll chain it with the other mob. Again, this pool, the poison blades, more of the same. More poison blades. More AoE, interrupt. That's it. Nothing really crazy here. It can be lots of AoE damage because we're not getting that shield down quicker. But from this Woebringer or the Banshee, that's it. So what do you do on this pool? Avoid green. There's a theme here. Have you seen? Avoid the green, poop on the ground, interrupt the Banshee, and then also get that shield down to stop the AoE. That's about it. So there's the pulsing shriek. That's what you want to call it for. You can interrupt once that shield's gone. Kill the shield, interrupt, boom, you're good to go. Not that scary. You see me ask the healer for mana and ping them. They say no. So what you want to do here on this part is once the Woebringer is dead, or the Banshee, whatever you want to call it, you want to chain into the boss. Few things why you want to do this. You want to keep uptime as much as ASAP as possible, right? Keep as much uptime as you can. And on top of that, You don't want a lot of downtime. So once that banshee is dead, and why we wait for that banshee is because it's a big mob, it's a scary mob, and not one you want to chain into a boss because it deals a lot of single target damage, and it also deals big AoE damage. So you just want to be aware of that. And once that wailing banshee dies, I go straight into the boss. We can take the little lads, not a big deal. Who cares? They're not scary. But there's always core targets in a group that you want to kill and make sure they're dead before you go into the next pull. Wailing banshee is one of them. This boss is nothing crazy. We have the area of denial. How can you tell there's a trend? The poop stuff on the ground. We just want to move that to the side. And since we are a Death Knight, we can just run into the green and drop it on top of other green with AMS. It doesn't do a lot of damage to us. And we just keep moving with area denial. Nothing really crazy here on this boss. After you clear the ads, you want to look out for that brutal chop, which is the tank buster. They'll just hit you and hit you and hit you for what seems like 30 seconds. Hits you a lot from Latch and from Callus, the Banshee. She does the same as the little ads do. She'll cast something called Shadow Bolt. Just interrupt it. And then at one point as well, there'll also be like a chain hook mechanic where here we go here. The Banshee is doing big AoE damage. So how do we stop the AoE damage? You just aim the hook at her, and then you get homeboy to hook her, and hook her. I barely know her. Zinger. That's it. Like, this boss is pretty straightforward. Nothing crazy. Greens go to the side there. You watch out for the bone hack, which is the tank buster coming up. You interrupt the shadow bolts and you aim the hook at the boss. There's also ads here, but you can despell or decurse the ads and they automatically disappear. So tanks, no matter what class you play, we can't do anything with that. So that's more of a healer mechanic. You just wait for the dispel, or whoever can dispel or decurse, whatever it is. That's it. Nothing crazy here on this boss. That's the entire fight. You pick a direction to go. Here's the hook thing where you aim the hook at her. Again, straightforward. Nothing crazy here. After that, we have this is a big pull here. So what makes this scary is not the guys on the bird. It's not the soldiers. It's actually the archers is why this pull is scary. So you pull this whole entire area. I popped Icebound here because this is a big pull. Now the soldiers deal tank damage. Not a big deal. The phalanx breakers are the guys on the birdie boys. Just do a straight line. You avoid those. As you could see, I waited for that archer to come up. I gripped the archer in, and then I Gorfien's grasps everything. So it's all in one spot. It's easy. So why is this pull scary, dangerous? These archers. Why, you may ask? The archers do an ability called Shoot. As you can see, we got our druid was getting shot on there and released. While he's running back, let me tell you why these archers are scary. Because that ability they do called Shoot, they do a single target, they'll look at you, and boom, they'll shoot you with an arrow. They also do an ability called like Rain of Arrows or Arrow Rain, something like that, where you see a lot of circles on the ground, and that is because the archers are casting it. It's like a volley thing for NPCs. So in this pull, what do you want to do? You want to interrupt the shoots as much as possible. So Blinding Sleet, Death Grip, Stun, Shockwave, anything you can do to stop them from casting Shoot or Arrow Rain is your number one priority and what you want to focus on. And then once those are dead, you can easily go next. Not a big deal. So you see me leave while that Phalanx Breaker still has health. because I'm realizing we've had 5 deaths. Although the DPS in this group is amazing, I want to keep running forward because I know we're kind of low on time because we've had 5 deaths. So I waste no time in going to and chaining these pools. Now, chaining pools for all my tank friends out there. What you want to do when you chain is you want to make sure you usually kill casters or big mobs that are dangerous to your group before you move on to the next. So I chain these packs once the archers were dead, because the archers are dangerous and they're scary. And I have to chain here. You don't chain if you don't have to, but being that we've had 5 deaths, I want to make sure everything goes smoothly still. I'm making up for time. I'm going to chain into this big pool here. The only thing that's really scary in that pool was the big caster, because they do chain lightning. So make sure you interrupt that. And they also do flame nova, big, large AoE to the whole party that you cannot interrupt. You can just press defensives for or AMZ. As you can see, I start chaining. I start moving. I didn't chain this one, but I start moving once those big ads were dead. I'm going to move to the next. So we have this Mythic here. Again, interrupt the chain lightning, the flame nova right there. You want to be careful of, as well as just do that. There's going to be big AoE spins from grunts. Just get out of that. And again, I didn't mention the previous pool, these spectral axe throwers. So what these spectral axe throwers will do, they'll do like the archers, throw axe. You just want to make sure you CC that as much as you can. It doesn't hurt too much, but it is something you want to be on the lookout for to protect. So you see that flame nova went off there. I didn't have AMZ, so I can't help the group out at all, and that's at that point of view. And we just ate it, dealt lots of damage, but we got through it. And the spirit of wanting, again, this pack dies. And what I do here is I pull some funnel. So as you can see, we have 99%, but we still want to get the rest of that percentage. We want to make sure that we get funnel. So like we discussed with Emberhawk, that our DPS can do more damage to the boss by doing damage to side targets, as well as funnel, boss damage, and getting percentage. That's what we do here, and that's what we're pretty good at. So I grab that last pack you see there. Again, funnel, damage, and percentage. That's what we do there. And once we pull that in, pretty straightforward from here. One thing I will say, that rampage comes in. Again, it's a 5-second tank buster. So just heal, death strike, vamp blood. And also you see this reckless leap ability here. It will always, target the farthest person, and it deals lots and lots of damage. You cannot choose who he reckless leaps on first, but you can determine who he reckless leaps on second. So I'll show you again. So see, he picks a random person, nothing you do about that. But the second person is actually the farthest person away. So as tank, you want to make sure you are the farthest person away when that pops and when that happens, because you can eat the damage. It's not going to deal a lot of damage to you, and you can easily eat that. That's about that for that. Here come the ad phase, just the grunts and the axe throwers and the mage that we're looking at here. So make sure you interrupt the chain lightning. The flame nova's coming. This big AoE damage to everyone. And then you also have that throw axe. So stuns, soft CCs. You see I asphyxiate there to stop him from throwing axe. But that's essentially the fight. We brought in funnel for boss damage percentage, as well as we're avoiding circles on the ground. And then when reckless leap happens like there, we want to get as far away as possible from the boss. And then we want to make sure we take the second reckless leap. That's this entire fight. So you saw me type there, war, you switch in specs after boss, right? This is very common in warriors, especially in higher keys. So I explained the fight, what's going on after this boss. So what happens is arms specifically, they have 2 hero specs, Slayer and Colossus. I believe he is Colossus right now. And for a pure single target fight, you want to go Slayer because it's much better on damage for your arms warriors. So it's very common. warriors that do this would be like Crit Cake EU, for example. He does it all the time, especially in Seat. What you'll do is you'll run the entire dungeon as Colossus, and then once it comes to a pure single target fight, they go Slayer, just because it is a damage increase and they don't have to worry about throwing the fight if they were Colossus. So that's why they do that. If you see a warrior say something like that in your group, if you're doing, again, this only matters in high keys. If you're a warrior saying that in low keys, there's literally no reason to do this. But if you're in a higher key, be aware your warriors could say that. So all that's happening is after this boss is killed, the warriors can go out and change hero talents from Colossus to Slayer. And that they do that because it's just more damage. That's all that's happening. There's no voodoo. There's nothing crazy. So let's keep that in mind. That will happen. So overcap of this fight, we bring in a extra pack of mobs for funnel, for boss damage, and for percentage. As well as that, the Reckless Leap. You cannot determine who gets targeted first for Reckless Leap, but you can determine who gets targeted second. It's by the farthest away from the boss. So if you're the tank, you want to make sure you're taking the second Reckless Leap by just getting far. And then you have a 5-second tank buster. Death Strike, baby, Death Strike. Or if I don't know if you're another tank, ignore pain. I don't know. But if you are in a different class watching it, just be ready for that. That's all. Now, once the boss is dead, it's just a boss rush. We go to the last boss. We have enemy forces done. Like I said, we're just waiting for this warrior to go out, switches hero spec, and then come back in. It's actually pretty quick. Shaman asks CD's up for pool. He's only asking that to make sure he wants to hero and everyone can lust and all time. We're all typing, just waiting for warrior. I don't want to make the mistake of pulling and the warrior's not there. Spoiler alert, we do time this. Like I said, damage is really good in this group. If we didn't have the 5 deaths, we would be ahead by like 2 minutes. Like the damage here is insane. We were carried by the damage, that's for sure. So I see the warrior come back. He goes to Colossus, or he goes to Slayer to switch specs, do more single target damage. We get the lust and we just do big damage here. This boss is super straightforward. Avoid the circles on the ground. Avoid the arrows on the ground. There's a tank buster. There's a circle coming up, and there's a bit of tech for if you're a Death Knight, no matter what kind of Death Knight, to avoid this. So usually to avoid this line on the ground, you would get hit up by a circle, correct? If you're running a melee comp like this, it can be very scary. There could be not enough arrows near the boss. So as a Death Knight, whether you're Blood or Unholy or Frost, doesn't matter. You can completely ignore that mechanic with AMS. So to save arrows near you and to save arrows near the boss, what you do is you just AMS as that line comes up. That's all you gotta do. Nothing crazy. You get to save arrows, you get to save lines, and you get to make sure that I've been in those situations. I've seen it where there's not enough arrows near a boss and a melee or a monk healer dies because they were counting on a arrow to shoot them up above over that line. Now, if you have proper communication, pings and stuff, that's not really an issue, but I have seen it happen, and that is something I want to avoid. So easy for tanks or for Death Knights, especially as Blood, Unholy, doesn't matter. Don't take an arrow. Just AMS when that line comes up to you, and you can completely ignore that mechanic. Again, doesn't matter if you're tank or DPS, just a little pro tech. I AMS there. I'm totally fine. You don't even take damage. That's why DPS can do it too. You'll be fine. Don't worry about that. But that's really about it. There's that tank buster that comes that we showed. There's the arrows. Now these arrows are really close to us because we're playing a full physical comp. So you see a lot of arrows near us. It's a little bit iffy to move this boss sometimes in those big AoEs. Again, this will only happen if you're all fizz, which we are, and this happens a lot with us. But besides that, nothing really crazy. AMS the line, avoid the arrows on the ground. Be careful of the tank buster. The tank buster, now I'll also say this, Tempest Slash, it will also knock you back. So if you're a tank, just be aware you're going to get knocked back. Be on the lookout for that when that comes out. But again, nothing really crazy here. This line is coming. You see I prepared my AMS. Boom, hit it. Look at that. Nothing. And I moved the boss to a little bit of a safer area because we have a lot of melee here. So I just want to make sure we're doing that right. But that's it. You see I moved boss again because these arrow placements are insane because we have a full melee comp. So I just want to say be on the lookout for that. But yeah, that's it. Enjoy the rest of the fight. And there's the key. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. And that's our first 20 done, baby. Yay, our first 20. I will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for showing up and listening to me talk.